The Nintendo Switch 2 Direct just happened, and I'll be honest, it's a mixed bag for me. A combination of really cool features like voice chat for Mario Kart, and also emulating a couch co-op feel with face cams but online, with some decent looking games but brought down by greedy price points like Mario Kart 8 going for $79.99. Well, maybe it's not all too bad. 90 euros physical! That's crazy. But we'll get into that. Hello everyone, I am Jmulls of Jmulls Gaming, and the Switch 2 seems to be what I thought it was going to be, and largely what I was hoping it would be. A Switch, but more powerful, and I'm fine with that. Giving me access to my already existing Switch catalog of games but with enhancements, and that's largely what I needed. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom look smooth and better, and I hope Xenoblade gets the same treatment, though I was surprised by its absence. Now, Nintendo are doing the PlayStation thing where you have to pay for certain game upgrades, which, yeah, is pretty crappy, but it's not for all the games, weirdly enough. I imagine it's for the games with more work behind their enhancements, and that Breath and Tears being bundled into the Switch Online expansion pack for the upgrades is to bolster that value proposition. Speaking of, GameCube is being added to the list of emulation services Nintendo Online provides, and the lineup is weird. Now, more gonna be added to the future, but like, no Smash Melee, no Double Dash, no Twilight Princess. But there are some bangers here, Wind Waker and Pokemon Gale of Darkness being the big standouts for me personally, and also Mario Sunshine. I am befuddled though at Nintendo just not reporting Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD versions that are found on the Wii U. It's like, we know they can port Wii U games with a few changes thanks to Xenoblade X, and it just feels like an easy win that they just keep putting off. We can say they're bound to do it at some point, but like, seriously, at some point would be lovely. Like, those are great games and great versions of those games, and they're just left to stagnate on the Wii U. Now, most of the games they showed off for the Switch 2 don't appeal to me. Most Nintendo games kind of don't really appeal to me that much, but there's a couple of cool things that I might grow to like. Let's start off with Mario Kart World. It's an open world Mario Kart, and yeah, that's basically what it is, with some cool rail grinding. All the tracks exist on a connected open world, so the pre's consist of you doing a track, then manually going across the world to the next track. I just hope the open world connecting the tracks is interesting enough to feel good and not just feel like a dumb gimmick that people will beg for a way to skip. The game itself does look fine, and if you enjoy Mario Kart, the chances are you'll enjoy this one as well. Donkey Kong Bonanza. First off, great way to work banana into the title, and it's a game that I very well may grow to like with time if I end up trying it out. It's a return of 3D Donkey Kong with some 2D moments thrown in for good measure, at least going off the trailer. Donkey Kong sports a new redesign which kinda looks ugly to me, and it's largely because of the fur. He just looks messy, which probably works for him, but I prefer his older design. But it's like, whatever. The world is seemingly mostly interactable, including the actual ground as you dig holes, pick up random crap, including chunks of dirt, and use whatever you can to bash enemies in a combat system that looks rather fast-paced. I mean, it looks interesting enough, I just never was much of a Donkey Kong fan, but again, it might just be something that I need to get my hands on to really tell if I end up liking it or not. Now, my biggest disappointment of the show comes from FromSoft, which is a sentence I've never said before, but we're saying it now. The Duskbloods. What at first excited me, since it looked like a spiritual successor to Bloodborne, which was locked in PlayStation hell, has turned out to be a multiplayer game and also exclusive to the Switch 2. Talk about a disappointment. I really hope that this, like what has now become a trend for FromSoft of multiplayer-centric titles, starts to die down, as that's simply not what I'm looking for out of a FromSoft title. I normally turn the multiplayer off because I just flat out don't enjoy it. I just want a good FromSoft single-player RPG. So seeing something that is so close to what I've wanted for the longest time from them, a spiritual successor to Bloodborne, just pull the rug out from under me at the last moment as left a sour and bitter taste in my mouth for a game with plenty of creativity thrown into it. There are some beautiful images here, but I will admit, the aesthetic is kind of all over the place. It's like a weird hybrid between Lies of P and Elden Ring, and I'm not sure they struck a balance that appeals to me. The vampire stuff is really cool though, but alas, we move on. Okay, I originally wasn't going to talk about this, but I feel the need to because it's so outlandish to me. The Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. I want to know the target demographic of people that will pay for a glorified manual. Heck, a glorified Google search. When PlayStation did it, they made it a whole platformer as a series that eventually culminated with Astrobot. This is just... who is this for? I don't get it. The fact that it costs anything is wild to me, but how much is it exactly? It's being shown off like a virtual museum tour, but it's not like the Switch 2 is never before seen tech. It's a Switch with a few new shinies that is also more powerful. I don't get this at all. Look, I wanted to like Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I really wanted to. I like the aesthetic. Hell, I love the aesthetic. But I'm sorry, I can't get past the blaster fire. It looks so weak sauce and not mechanically satisfying. The little plasma balls you shoot out look so slow and unresponsive. Not unresponsive, just they have the same impact as a wet noodle to me. It doesn't look impactful enough. I'm a bit of a snob when it comes to FPS games, albeit, but like, I get that. Don't get me wrong. And the world they showed off here with this game does make me want to take a look at it. And I love sci-fi, and it looks good. It's just the gameplay doesn't do anything for me. I hope I'm wrong on this. I like that they're at least trying to do something with online, with their Discord thing being built in. I mean, I've been liking Discord less and less with each new update, and it's seemingly going public soon-ish. So having something else for Nintendo games is probably going to look better in a few years' time, and I can already imagine the new insults that will be concocted like a witch's brew in whatever version of Smash the Switch 2 gets. Let alone Mario Kart and Mario Party. Oh my god, Mario Party voice chat is going to produce levels of venom and vitriol, the likes of which can only be found on Twitter whenever you mention politics, or when you mention you don't like a new shonen series. We also have some other ports of games. Look, I'm a PC gamer primarily. I'm not playing any of these titles on the Switch 2, but you have games like Hades 2, Split Fiction, Street Fighter 6, soon to be Borderlands 4, I think, Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition, Final Fantasy 7 Remake Integrate, and like, if you wanted more third-party support on the Switch, well, there you go. And I'll particularly highlight Cyberpunk and Final Fantasy 7 as I love both of those games. It's one of those situations where I know eventually the Switch 2 will have stuff that I care about. Eventually it'll have Xenoblade entries on it. Well, in all likelihood, oh god, what if it doesn't? Ugh, I don't want to think of that. And eventually we'll get new Zelda games that aren't Hyrule Warriors. Oh, right, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Yeah, it's Hyrule Warriors, but set in the past, during the Imprisoning War, during Tears of the Kingdom. I don't care. It's cool for those who do. The game itself looks pretty and fine enough, but the story in Tears ended up being one of my weakest points for the game, and expanding on a story that I already pretty much know because of Tears of the Kingdom does nothing for me. I kinda got all I needed out of the Hyrule Warriors formula with the original Hyrule Warriors, at least the one on the Wii U. I think I'm good on passing on this one, and funnily enough, the game of the show ended up being the giant robot game, probably to no one's surprise for anyone that knows me. Demon X Machina Titanic Scion, what a name. And it looks incredible. The first one had a weird aesthetic to it and it was way too oversaturated and had too much color contrast. This one looks distinct enough but reined in and just mwah, chef's kiss. The build variety looks great, the story looks intriguing, the game just looks great. I love the sense of scale going on here. Honestly, no complaints from me. This is the title so far I'm most looking forward to, and it's not close. Circling back to Metroid for a minute though, they showed off something that I hope becomes the norm. Higher fidelity at the cost of frame rate, or higher frame rate at the cost of fidelity. Give me options. I like frame rate personally. Not everyone cares about it as much as I do. That's fine. But I'll take it in almost every circumstance. If Nintendo can normalize their games being minimum 60 going forward, I will love that straight up. But if not, give me the option. I don't mind playing a game that looks a little bit worse if it runs better and plays better. The games they showed off, more often than not look graphically better than the Switch, but it doesn't seem as if they're trying to squeeze every pixel and are prioritizing mechanics and hopefully performance, and personally I'm all for that. So well, the monetization behind the Switch 2 seems to be a trend in the wrong direction, at least for the consumer, and they're trying to normalize digital purchases even more, especially if they're going back to pricing physical games at a higher price than the digital one. I buy most of my games digital nowadays anyway, so that doesn't really move the needle for me. As I said before, I'm a PC gamer, but like, even then, $90 for a game for the base version is outlandish. And I know that's in euros, but like, does anyone believe the physical US version isn't also gonna have a price tag behind it? And that's gonna be unique to the European version? I don't. But even then, $80 for a digital version of a Mario Kart game is outlandish. And the console itself being $450. Like, that is a lot. And like, yeah, I get it. Inflation, tariffs, like, I get it, dude. I do. That's still a lot of money for a lot of people. Maybe they're hoping that people will eventually bite the bullet regardless, or that enough people will still buy it. And I mean, they're probably right on this one. It's just in the modern day, if you have options when it comes to the platform you play on, there's normally quite a few sales that go on. So unless it's the game you particularly care about, it's hard not to just argue, wait for a sale and get a bunch of games you care about just as much for the same price point. Or just wait for the game to go on sale to begin with. Doesn't always apply for Nintendo games, but oh well. So yeah, and those are my thoughts on the Switch 2, pretty much. A combination of the games they showed off just don't really appeal to me besides Demon X Machina. I imagine I could have a bit of fun with a few of them though, but it's like eventually the Switch 2 will almost certainly have games that appeal to me. It's just I have to like take a knee and run out the clock until I get to that point in time. On the surface, it's pretty much what I wanted, a Switch but more powerful, but the monetization behind it leaves a sour taste in the mouth, I think. At least to me. And with that, I'll call the video there for the day. Thank you all for tuning in. My pleasure having in the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. Leave a comment down below with what your game of the show was. How you look at the Switch 2? Are you put off by it? Do you really want it? I'd love to hear your thoughts, hear your opinions, and hear your perspectives. Stay safe, have a great day, go play some video games, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Until we meet again.